Thank you, Dr. Rana. My name is Gunjan Kumar. I am CIO and Head of New Initiatives of Regency Healthcare. Regency Healthcare, formerly known as Regency Hospital, is a 23-year-old healthcare group. So we had almost two hospitals operational 2 years back. And within a month or so, we'll be having the fourth operational, and by the end of the year, we'll be having fifth hospital operational. We are moving across to other cities, so by 2018 end, we'll be having 7 hospitals up and running. It was quite a challenging task to see this kind of scalability, and we were quite excited and enthusiastic the way we were scaling up and the motivation we were getting to scale up. But then we thought that, IT systems have to be thought of as first, because lately, as we have been watching listening to all the presentations, almost every diagnostic or healthcare delivery service is leveraging on your networks, your IT systems. So we thought of actually revamping the entire IT infrastructure of the group. It was quite a pain, but then we thought that probably like Reserve Bank works on their locker once, and that lasts for almost years and years. So we thought that the network should be as reliable as the locker of the Reserve Bank, where they, dig in all their dollars, rupees, and all the gold bricks. So what we started working on is a truly called medical grade infrastructure, which was truly managed. We spent a lot on sort of an activity which didn't seem much of a ROI activity to the management initially, because that was an investment which was actually a passive investment. But as we can see today, a lot of medical modalities, the kind of data throughput that happens across, like DICOM imaging of PACS, picture archival imaging, all diagnostic images, all lab information. And then we saw that there are a lot of innovations which were coming up, like American Trends, which they want to plug into our network, and probably we don't want that any new application dropping into the existing infrastructure has some kind of business discontinuity. I do believe that it is okay to have a basic IT infrastructure with any of the hospitals. It is okay to have a basic HMS or a clinical system in a hospital. But it would be a shame for a hospital, and especially for the IT team, if the IT is hampering the business continuity in its operations. I believe that there should be a decent level of redundancy built in to ensure whatever we are committing to our clinicians, to the patients, and to the internal services, internal service providers, are consistent and reliable and predictable. I have seen most of the hospital clinicians, doctors, deter to use different new applications, or even the clinical basic HMS application, because they say probably at times we have outages, my computer doesn't work. So they're very, very fundamental. But why I'm referring to these today is that because of the scale what we go to, the Gangaram Hospital, the kind of scale they have, there's a lot of dependency on the IT systems which have to be thought in. Like, once you invest into the infrastructure and you stay reliable, you stay relaxed, that now you don't have to look at the hardware or the infrastructure part and focus on the different application coming up. While we did so, we also thought of why not we work on the application which we run our businesses on. Now, I have Sir has a lot of years of experience, but I cannot say that, I would say that anybody who's sitting in this room cannot vouch upon a single HMS or a EHR solution which has lasted for a decade, or probably it lasted for a decade in a hospital. So I could not find at least 5 occurrences of a large corporate hospital which had a clinical system or a HMS which lasted for 10 years. We took a forward call. I do understand it's a large call we took. We thought that the essence of stakeholders, the management team, the finance team, is actually the finances which are coming up, and operational success of the hospital is actually gauged on, especially for a corporate hospital, is how you're churning out your resources, whether it is the money, the consumables, the deliverables, the procedures, how profitable they are, or at least how optimized they are, how you're controlling the leakages on the materials which we purchase. There are hundreds and hundreds of pharmacy items coming into the hospital, hundreds of consumables they are coming into the hospital. We took a courageous decision, which seems to be, reflecting as a huge cost initially, which people would say, is that we leverage on SAP lately. We have desired to move on SAP, but we decided to move on SAP in a very, very different way. What we see is typically people go for any financial solution which is integrated to your current HMS. But keeping into view the longevity of any solution which was not more than 7 to 8 years in a hospital or 10 years in a hospital, we thought let's leverage on a solution which has a history of being into existence. And we decided to do even our pharmacy, even our central purchases, delivery, and finance on a single platform, that is SAP. And believe me, it came out to be quite economical. And I'm not a goodwill promoter of any solution. I should not be actually taking names. But I'm just taking this name that I would like to have more of these solutions in the industry when it comes to HMS, which can prove their existence and longevity in the industry. I'll just take 1 or 2 more minutes more. We also realize that there are certain internal services which have to be prompt. Like, for example, when a patient comes to the hospital, there is nursing care. There are different, you provide him food. Your centralized kitchen is there. Your centralized maintenance and engineering services are there, and the IT is there. Engineering services provide you air conditioning and different variable, their lights, there's power supply. We have actually put a challenge to ourselves. We have set up turnaround time, escalation matrix, deployed different applications to ensure that everybody is on their toes to give best of the services to the patients. Lastly, what we have started doing is that beside the fact you have invested in IT systems, you also have to ensure that those IT systems are being used by the hospital staff, the nursing staff, the clinicians, the doctors. So, and it becomes really difficult with so many apps, and you have to actually honor every clinician who comes up and tells you, I found this solution on the internet, why don't we adopt it? The answer is always yes, because you cannot say no. But you know that you cannot have every solution available to be deployed in your system. So what we started doing is that we set up an internal deployment team which was only working on the acceptance and UI of a solution. So what we do is, we don't develop any software in-house. We do in-house UI development on very, very simple to use tools, and we present the same application with my existing database on a tablet. We make them use with a pseudo data, and we tell them this is not exactly the clinical care is delivered on. But that kind of acceptance which you get, which you can deliver to a doctor or a clinician of a UI, which comes out to him on the 7th or 8th day of what he has asked for, retrospective to the solution which he has seen on the internet, is actually a way forward what I see. There's a lot to say, and I think other speakers also have to say.